Uja Uben Efrene has Good Rising Great Awakenings, and welcome to day 16 of 21 days of self-care and global prayer healing post-traumatic slave syndrome with sound. And we are moving forward. Today's Sankofa step is control your inner world, manage stress and conflict. And my goodness, is there a lot of stress and conflict going on in our environment today? And the objective is to not let that affect our inner peace, right? And we're focusing on healing from past trauma that we've inherited from the ancestors through the generations, from surviving slavery, and that energy field, that energy pattern from the trauma is passed on to the generations until it's healed energetically. So the healing that we do in our lifetime can benefit 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. And I know that there were lots of things in me that I attributed to trauma from my past life, my ancestors' life, even past in this lifetime. So I'm really focusing on getting that stuff out of my heart and out of my REU so that I can move forward on my spiritual journey. Okay, so managing stress and conflict. So we're going to start with my reflections, and then we'll move on to the self-care summary. So I just wanted to begin by acknowledging that my work or involvement with the Sima Pao and Chatao Netter, the Egyptian yoga practice, or the yoga from Kemet spiritual practice, and the teachings have really helped me manage my stress, and conflict. And even though I have a bit of ways to go, I know I'm doing a lot better and responding to situations instead of reacting. In the past, I was really almost militant. I was full of anger and rage and racism and hatred. And that was a long time ago. It's taken a long time to get to the point where I'm looking at things from a mystical perspective. And that since I made my music shedding my main focus, that's when things really started to shift, at a more faster or better, where the progress was longer lasting. So I've basically just restructured my whole life around the music that comes through me, and then sharing it with others, and also the healing sounds that come through, which is why I'm doing a lot of work on social media. And also got to acknowledge that it's become a lot easier for me to remain seated on my inner throne and not be moved. That's the throne of Aset. That's really about trusting the divine intuition that comes through and tuning into the cosmic mind and remembering my higher self, all the things that have been coming out during this self-care series. I've been working on them, but since I've been so focused on them, I'm really feeling and seeing the benefits and the manifestations. And as for the mystical application or the mystical perspective of the current events, especially as it relates to PTSS and COVID, is do not fall into the clutches of fear and anger from the oppressive regime. It's like we're just being set up. And mainly that the royal personality does not experience stress or conflict. So it doesn't have to manage stress or conflict, because there's no stress or conflict, there's REU. The royal personality is aware of Maat. So there's Maat, there's spirit, there's divine love, and there's no stress and there's no conflict. So it's beyond managing stress or conflict, it's transcending it. Even though we may not like things that are going on, or we don't see the justice in them, we have to know and trust that Ma'at is everywhere, and that everything is happening in alignment with the divine plan. And I think the only way to change what we see is to change our minds. And like I was talking about before, divest from the West. We have to just step out of all those habits and customs that we've inherited that are killing us or causing us to be killed. Yeah, and to accept and embrace the fact that all we can really do is to cleanse and purify our hearts and our RU of the impressions that we're holding on to and attachments that we're holding on to, perceptions that are not based in truth, they're based on ego. And once we're able to flush those out, like memories and sentimentalities and was it unfulfilled desires, unfinished business. That's what I was thinking. Unfinished business. It's finished. It's in the past. It's finished. So the Hopi say that the time for waking people up is over, that all we can do is comfort the ones that are already awake. And that is what I'm focusing on is comforting the people that are already awake. Even though we're not attached to the outcomes or attached to the events, it's still crucial for us to stand for Maat, for justice, to speak out if there's injustice, but to not get caught up in the REU of the scenario of what's going on, not to get pulled into the drama with the emotions and the anger, because that'll topple us, off of our throne. It'll knock us off balance. And then we'll be, stuck in a time and space situation rather than looking for the spiritual solution. Okay. So that is the commentary. One more thing I want to add. Even though I'm developing the mystical perspective, I'm still not really comfortable with it because it seems cold and uncaring. But when we can see it from that perspective, then we'll be more effective in the realm of time and space as far as bringing about change. So, I'm working on it. I was really attached to this a few years ago, and I decided I just wasn't able to be attached from my cultural identity and my roots. And I said, I'm going on a 40-day water fast, and I'm either going to evaporate or come out with some answers. And everybody was worried about me, so I didn't do 40 days of water. I did 10 days of water. And obviously I got some sort of insight because I'm still here. I didn't evaporate. But it was very difficult to lay that down. Very, very difficult. But I see the wisdom in it, and it was something I had to do. It was partially why I've kind of moved away from the whole reggae scene, because it's really time and space. It's very, it has a very spiritual aspect, but it's still really based on time and space. It doesn't direct you or teach you how to go beyond that. It's mostly just about this realm of existence. How to be in it, but not of it. But that wasn't enough for me. All right, now we're going to have the self-care summary. So for this alignment, I couldn't print out the chart, but I chose to work with, since we're dealing with the gallbladder and the liver is the meridian for connected to anger and processing anger and releasing anger. And the Sankofa step is control your inner world, manage stress and conflict. So to me, that was like a light. Oh yes, the anger, the liver. Let's see. Yeah, so we use the liver and gallbladder meridian. Finding safety soothes stuck fight responses. The liver and gallbladder meridians mediate the fight response. The liver and gallbladder meridians mediate the fight response and help us see new possibilities. So it flushes out the liver so that you can let go of the anger. And I wanted to mention something called golden milk, where you take coconut milk and turmeric root, fresh or powdered turmeric, a little bit of black pepper, honey, and ginger, and simmer it and drink it at night. And while you're sleeping, it flushes out your liver, and it's really good. So that's the meridians we're going to use, and the gallbladder is the tricky one, but I'm getting a lot better. I figured out the whole ear. You start at the corner of the eye and then go down behind the ear, then over here, then back up to the front of the head, and then back down. So I was excited that I finally figured that out. I better do both sides. And we're doing one side, you want to do on the other. And that's kind of how I do the meridians. I just move the forks along the meridian. And then it went all the way down the back. Okay, and then for the extraordinary vessels, I chose to do the Yang Wei and the Chang. And I've been reading those a lot, so I don't need to, I'm not going to read them again because the protocol points I'm going to do today, I wanted to demonstrate those. And for the protocol points, we're advised to use the Zodiac Om octave for anger and stress, and the Liver 3 for the Great Surge, anger issues and depression. Use the Zodiac 3rd or the New Moon 5th to open up the liver. And so then I was like, well, then let's just use the Open the Gates to Heaven with Liver 3 and Lower Intestine 4. So I just wanted to demonstrate that. And what did I have down here? Oh, I'm going to read about the points. Okay, so the Great Surge, the Tai Chong. It's a key position where the source chi gathers. It's an area of major chi activity. The Great Surge. It really works well to regulate the chi. It keeps energy flowing and keeps growing and expanding. Used for anger issues, irritability, PMS, depression, anything that keeps the liver suppressed. Use the Zodiac 3rd and New Moon 5th to open up and relax the liver, keeps the liver happy. Supports the completion of old cycles, allows us to go with the flow. Smooths out emotions and patterns associated with the wood element. And then the Union Valley, Lower Intestine 4. It's a command point for the face, mouth, and head. Can be used for sinus congestion, headaches, toothaches. Big on releasing endorphins. Used with the Liver 3 for the Great Surge, the 4 gates. Opens up the flow of blocked energy in the body. Also great to just keep energizing and operating smoothly. Anything else? Okay, so now I'm just going to demonstrate opening the gates. Oh, I didn't talk about the tones, did I? Okay, yeah, so the chart that I used, since I was dealing with anger, the first thing that came to mind were the tones for Set and Heru, or the Mars and Uranus tone. And then they requested the Zodiac. So this is the Anpu tone and Geb. And the moon was in the sign of Gemini. So that would be the new moon and Mercury, Sasheta. So those are the tones that I used based on the chart for the day 16. So the Great Surge point is right here, and the Union Valley is this point right here. Union Valley, yeah. So you put one there and one there. And you can just use acupressure, massage, crystals, energy, vibration, visualization, whatever your modality is. You just focus on these points that I'm pointing out to you. And you do it on both sides. Okay, and I have a few notes about some of the reactions I had during the session. After I did the gallbladder, I felt like an expanse, and then I felt really anxious because I had stuff to do, and I was like, oh, and then I just let it go and relaxed. So that was pretty cool. I just, I felt anxious, and I was able to just instantly let it go. And then after I did the chong, I felt like I had just had a glass of wine. I just felt really relaxed, like, hey. And those are the only things that I wrote down. Okay, so now we're going to get set up for the cosmic chimes and chanting.